Finally
Hello.
get a load of you.
How's it going?
All right, you.
You know what? I'm
What?
just gonna be honest. Today has been the longest week ever. Do you know what I mean?
Longest week?
Today has been the longest week ever.
Why?
Yes. Just this whole week has been weird.
Okay.
The wind, and then I've got like dust in my nose and
That's right.
lungs.
I heard about that and saw some pictures. I wasn't sure if they were legit or what.
Of course they're legit. Hey, Joanne. How are you this evening? I don't know if you saw, I shared one about some trampolines. Like someone did a montage of all the trampolines that were everywhere. I
Really?
sensed Chon somewhere around here.
Oh my gosh, already.
Yes. Yeah, no, so someone
Stop
did a
that finger in the
montage.
angry face, John.
I know. But remember last week on my show he did the hearts.
I know. So we now, since Joe's not here, we know who the angry face is
It's
for.
that you and
Yeah,
you were the one
basically.
who knew him before we any of us
I'm the
did.
one who introduced him to you, all right?
I know. We're friends with Chon because you're friends with Chon. But anyway, so yeah, and then
I'm
I think we're
sharing on
expecting
social.
like more dust tomorrow, more wind. I'm so over it, honestly. Oh,
Yeah, the pictures
big.
looked dramatic. Were they actually pretty
Okay, your
real?
camera does not capture all the dirt. I'm telling you that right now. What you see and what your camera sees are two very different things. So I think the camera didn't capture it all.
Is everyone else hearing Sandy the way I hear her or
Can you
not?
hear me?
It's like your bad broken drive-through,
Oh, really?
like
I'm on
it's
my
cutting out over and over again.
like I'm on my thing. I know that you said that last week about me.
I'm actually going to replay it back on YouTube on the side over here so I can tell if it is you or
Okay.
me.
Joanne said yes.
Yes,
Yes to what, Joanne?
it
We'll
was
just
kind of a
pause a minute.
two-parter question. I didn't make it easy, so
Do I sound bad? Do I sound like I'm coming in and out? Yes or no?
yeah, it's being broadcast that way.
Oh no. Is
I
it
don't
still coming like that?
just keep talking. That's the
Okay.
only way to see if it
Yeah,
does.
Joanne said I sound funky.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't
it's total
know.
glitch. I don't think it's happening anymore. Let's just keep going and see if it keeps on or
Okay.
not. And John, let
Okay.
us know if it does or doesn't.
Joanne said yes as well. Thank you,
Yeah, it's
guys.
still happening. I don't know what it is.
Pixies.
It's
I mean,
almost
I'm
like
connected.
are
Got my
you
regular.
it cleared up for a second, but then it came back.
Mm-hmm.
Um close the browser, reopen it, come back in maybe.
Okay, be right
Let's
back.
try that. Okay. While she's gone, I get y'all all to myself. So what I'm going to show off are some of my comic books. Okay. So I got this really cool one here. Oh, come on. Now I can't show it because of the green screen. But yeah, while I'm doing that too. Also, take a look at the Hot Topics if you can, if you saw. We're going to be talking about some of these things tonight and would love your thoughts as well. Okay. So make sure to here we go. There we go. Now I can show them off, especially for you, Joanne, right? So here is Venom and or Carnage Agent Venom and oh, there she is. She's back. So you
Okay,
can just try to keep talking, Sandy, and I'll just show these off while you
okay. I'm just gonna. It says iPhone Wi-Fi disconnected. Oh, okay. To optimize continuity camera, your iPhone is disconnected from Wi-Fi. Plug it in with cable to use Wi-Fi. I have no idea what that's telling me.
That's a pretty cool book.
Is that
I'm
still the
not
same? The Hidden
you
Empire.
sound good. So
Okay.
yeah, this is a Star Wars. I'm not big into the Star Wars comic books, but Marvel has won the rights to the publishing and their covers have been pretty dope. And if you know me, I usually get comics because I like the art on the front page mainly,
It
mostly.
looks like it won a Caldecott award.
Called Ducat. What is that? I've never heard of that.
What? No
Yeah,
way. It's a seal that's put on books when they win this award. Like I learned that like in elementary.
I'll have to go look that one up and check it out.
Oh, interesting.
I
It
got
just
two
looks
more.
like that seal on there.
I like this one. It's
Mhm.
Power
Yeah,
Girl.
I know. I know why you like that one. Who's that?
Check out her arms. They
I'm
tattooed him
looking at
up.
her cleavage.
Of course you are.
That's all I can see. I can't see any tattoos. What tattoos?
So if you look at her shoulder, she's got like Flash right there, or not? Yeah, the Flash from the old school, and then some of the other people from the Justice League.
Joanne's like me. Boobs.
What?
She's boobs.
Get your eyes out of the gutter.
And then John says, he's too old, Sandy.
He too old. And this one I got,
agree.
I didn't want to get it, but then after I got it, I was like, man, I actually kind of like this one.
What makes you like this one?
What makes me like it?
Yes.
So it's that the Virgin, where it doesn't have any of the extra stuff, right? And it's just the image. But I love that. So if the red had bled into anywhere you see the red on his costume, they would have called this a negative space cover because you're only filling in the color of where that doesn't match all the color. I don't know if that makes sense, but so anywhere the red should have matched and bled into it, and you wouldn't have noticed that an outline.
Legs.
So yeah. You'd only have seen the blue, the red, the blue, the black, and the white.
Oh, so interesting.
And I have some of those covers. I'll show another day, but yeah. And this is a thick boy too. So I don't know if you can see, but they don't come that thick.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Is it like that full of content, or why is it so thick? Oh.
Yeah. So it looks like this would have been his 900th issue. So that makes sense why they did that. So it would have been like a special, hey, every 800, 850, 900, 950, 1000 issue, they do something special about it. And so that's what they probably did with that one.
So speaking of superheroes, you posted something today that I was like,
oh my gosh.
What happened?
Oh my gosh. That scared me. That scared me. Yes.
So it turned out it was fake news.
It was fake news, yes. Which the Facebook page that had
Start from the top though.
I'm sorry, yes. So I was scrolling, someone had tagged me and it was like, here, look. And it was the Superman statue, which is located in Metropolis, Illinois. It's a real place. And the head was missing. And we have had high winds up here also. And winds can get crazy up here too, just like in West Texas, right? So we've had signs knocked down, like the billboards. And it can get a little bit ridiculous up here. So it's not that far-fetched to believe that Superman's head might have gotten blown off by the wind. I didn't know that the thing was made of bronze, though, till today. And after learning that, then it was like, oh, that makes sense. The wind wouldn't have done that. So, yes, it's made of bronze. And so someone posted that the head had gotten removed off. And I flipped my lid because 2019, that's where Dr. Pineapples took me for our anniversary. And it was a blast. It was fun. It was amazing. We're talking about like a little tiny town that's probably about the size of Brownfield, Lamesa.
Wolford has like 3,000 people, 3,200 people.
Maybe Wolford then. Maybe Wolford. Yeah, because that's a lot more than what I remember it as. We're talking about a little tiny town that's about the size of Wolford. But on Superman Celebration, they celebrate Superman every year in, I can't remember if it's June. In the first week of June, they do a Superman celebration, and they invite all kinds of famous stars who've shown up from all mediums of superhero kingdom, artists. They have vendors, people dress up. It's like a Comic-Con for Superman specifically. But it goes from like, I don't remember the exact number, but it's like 3,000 people. Let's just say it goes from 3,000 people to 30,000 people in one weekend.
How do you house all these people? Where do they
have
stay?
Hotels galore, and there's a small little town at the tip of Illinois, Southern Illinois, but there's a whole bunch of hotels, and there's some bigger, not big giant cities, but there's some bigger cities around it.
Bigger towns.
Yeah. And so they host it, but they have a lot of hotels there. And they make a large amount of money during that weekend there. And so
it basically like pays for their year expenses, probably.
Something like that. Yeah. Because it's insane. It's wild. And when we went, I remember we got there on a Friday and it was tame. I'll use that word. It was tame. And I was like, oh, okay, I kind of thought it was going to be a little bit more, right? I remember thinking that. So then Saturday morning we got up. went out there, and it was like, oh my God, what in the world happened? It was like,
Take me back to the team.
yeah, everyone was like shoulder to shoulder, and there was so many
Fine.
things, and because there's so much to do. There's so much
But
there.
2020,
It's
this didn't
fun.
happen, right?
Not 2019. So this was
But I'm just saying
2019.
it didn't happen during COVID.
Yeah, it was wow. Yeah, it was right before. And so you have all the food vendors, you have the artist alley, which is where, just different kinds of artists who showcase their comics, their original art, and then, kind of just
Do they
stuff
have
that people do at
food?
random. It's awesome. It's awesome. And then there's the Superman museum. And the Superman museum is
Super.
it's super. Yeah. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So you go in there, and this museum has everything Superman from the 30s all the
Christopher
way to
Reeve's
current.
my
Yes, they
favorite.
have his original costume from the first Superman.
No.
Not a replica, the exact costume is in their museum. And
That's
so
awesome. Well, okay, so if one wanted to go there, where would you fly into?
that's a good question. I probably think like St. Louis, or geez, I'd have to look at that, to be honest with you.
Okay, just if somebody wanted this planet. So Joanne is saying, where is Lame Joe? Lame Joe is getting ready for a conference because he's going to Chattanooga. So he said he had to get lots of things before he left. He's
You know
be doing
what, Sandy?
conference
It's
up
really
there.
bad. It didn't go away. It's back.
No.
Like it's been back. I thought it was just going to clear up, but it's not. And when you talk consistently, it just, you can just tell. I don't know what is different tonight.
I don't know. Let me have my earbuds. Hold on.
Okay. So while she's doing that, I'll entertain you all. Okay. So anyway, yeah, you can go to this Metropolis, Illinois. It's really cool. It's the official hometown of Superman. And they're all about it. So if you went onto my Facebook, you could see the picture that they had put up of the Superman that had its head removed, which is this giant statue that sits in front of the museum. And it's large. It's cool, right? And so the thing to do is when you get there is to go stand in front of the statue and take a picture there. And I got a few of those. And if you go to my Facebook page, you can see the picture that was floating around as though that was what was the. I'm trying to find my Facebook. Here we go. I'll share it so you can see it. Entire screen. Yes, here we go.
Okay. What about now?
Oh, you do sound clearer, but let's just see if it's gone.
Okay.
There's the picture that went up today saying that it was removed, right? And like I said, it was fake. It was not true. Hey, CPJ.
Hey, CPJ.
Yeah, you sound much clearer. Much, much clearer.
Okay.
And anyway, it turned out that the site that this was from, which is the Metropolis, Illinois News, it turned out it's a satire site for the town. So it just got out of hand, and more people started showing it. But if you look in the comments, I posted a picture of me in front of the museum.
So is there like a gate you can go in through? Oh, I just now noticed the S is in the
gate is in the shape of the shield. Yeah. And
amazing.
it's on the Sandy. It's really amazing. Like, it is a Superman lover's dream. Like, everything is Superman everywhere, and it is like unapologetic. And I'm like, thank you for not being unapologetic, because it is enjoyable. It's a weekend out of the whole year. It's a big deal. Lots of money being made, lots of enjoyment, lots of fun. I mean, it's really just a nice, like, like if you were to go to the state fair, it's something similar. There's not like a rides or anything like that. But if you're into art, music, and all that, so you think like a festival of a sort. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
Is there LARPing?
I don't know. If there was, I didn't see any.
Okay.
But you get to see a lot of people wearing costumes also, and some of these costumes are not rinky-dink. Some are, but a
Right.
lot of them are not. Like I think I showed you the picture when it happened years ago of a crypto, someone who dressed their dog like crypto, and it was, geez, it was so, it was great. It was great. It was a white dog too, and he had his little Superman cape on him, and his collar was gold and around it. It just looked perfect. It was one of those where like less is more kind of situation, and he
Uh-huh.
was just, yeah, fantastic.
Well,
So
awesome. I love it.
yeah, I would highly suggest anyone go. I do want to return there one year, and I might go with my daughters next time. Dr. Pineapples had to work while we were there that weekend, so it wasn't as
Dr.
enjoyable.
Pineapples be working all the
She's
time.
got 3 jobs. She's got
Oh
3 jobs.
my
So
God.
I mean, I need someone to take. I'm just playing.
I need someone to be paying for these comics.
Yeah, these comics don't come in by themselves. Okay.
So, Jamie, I shared with you earlier this week something that just grinded my gears, and I want to let you know that it carried over from Monday and spilled into
Oh,
Tuesday
don't
and
tell
into
me. Are you
Wednesday.
serious? Are you serious? What?
Yes,
That
that's what I'm
long?
telling you. That's what I'm telling you. It has been just a week.
Do you want to
And
tell us
so
about it?
I want to,
Okay. All
because I
right.
feel like I need some input here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I refer, I am hesitant to refer people, right?
Why?
Because it's always come back to kind of bite you.
Okay. Okay.
So in this instance, supposedly this referral got my name from a friend of a friend of a friend. So it wasn't a direct referral.
Okay.
And he
Friend of
and
a
he would
friend.
and he wasn't very forthcoming with the name of a friend. So come to find out it might not even be me. But my name
Oh,
was dropped.
your name was definitely in the mix
Yes.
at bare minimum.
At bare minimum. So Monday
Hmm.
morning, um get a phone call and says, "Hey, a referral that you sent me has been blowing me up all weekend." And I'm like, "Is that a good thing?"
Right.
And he said, "Well, it started out as a good thing, but it slowly progressed into very aggressive,
Ugh.
very needy." And I'm like, "Who is it? Tell me the name and tell me who
Hmm.
sent him,
Hmm.
because I'm going to send out a message like, 'Hey, tone it down.'" So my
Simmer
friend
down
is
now. Simmer down
yeah.
now.
So my friend is a roofer, and he
Okay.
proceeds to tell me that the guy, he gave him a price and said, "This is how much I'll charge you." And the guy said, "No, well, Sandy's the one who sent me, and I might possibly even get a discount if I pay you cash." So in that, he implied that I told him, if you pay cash, then he'll give you a break. I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't play that shit. I don't.
Right.
I don't tell
You would
anybody, "Hey, go
never
to this
tell
person."
me to go to this person because I might get a discount from them.
No. I would never tell anybody that at all.
Okay.
And so he haggled him down and then is told him 5 times, "Go ahead and get started on it." He's like, "I'm not gonna get started on it because 1, I need money for the materials, and 2, I just don't start anything without any money." The guy was like, "Just do it, trust me."
Ugh.
And then yeah. So then he's like, "You know what? As a matter of fact, I don't even know if I trust you. I need to see some ID." Not my
That's what
guy. The
the
guy negotiating
okay, okay.
the referral
Told
now
the
all of a
told
sudden
the business.
doesn't trust, told the business. He all of a sudden didn't trust him. He needed to see some ID. So then,
Sorry, it's not
no,
funny, but
trust me, I'm just been flabbergasted by it all. He sends him his ID, and then he's demanding, like, "Hurry up and send me this invoice so I can get you paid, blah blah blah." And it's on a weekend, so of course they're like me. We've got things to do. We're not sitting by
right,
our
right.
computers just waiting for something to happen.
Uh-huh.
And blew her up. She's at her grandson's birthday party, and then she went to church the next day. He's blowing her up while she's at church.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then she's like, "Hey, listen, I'm gonna get to this when I can.
Hmm.
You don't be blowing me up like that.
Right, right, right.
Anyway, so then he's
Red
like,
flag. Red flag.
I mean, right? So then, in the meantime, the roofer's piecing together things that he can buy during the weekend because materials, the roof shingles, he can't buy them until that Monday.
Monday. Uh-huh.
And he's like, I need you to get started on this Monday, be done by Tuesday. I mean, just has all sorts of demands. And I'm still telling her, like, I need you to find out who sent this person because
Yeah.
we're gonna have words. So anyway, and then after he starts getting supplies, the guy's like, don't worry about it. We're not.
The potential customer or
The
whatever.
potential customer says, don't worry about it. I'm not going to need your services anymore. After he's already spent money securing things over the weekend, after he's already been dealing with him and his numerous calls and sending him his ID so that he could be trusted. So, fast forward to this morning.
Okay. It's Wednesday.
She texts me and says, "Hey, guess who called last night?" I said, "Who?"
Your
She
friend.
said that referral.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "What did that MF want?" He wanted my roofer to go trim the trees.
Oh my
And
God.
also asked him, he's like, "Go trim those trees. And then also, do you do landscaping?"
Oh my gosh.
And I said, "Block him. Don't
No
you ever
mames. I can't
have
believe
anything
them.
to do with this
What?
person."
Some people, I just don't get it, Sandy.
I don't get it.
What in the
And then I told
world?
her, I said, "I am pissed that you even negotiated a price with them." I said, "Because the price you gave me on my roof,
Mm-hmm.
not once did I say take it down, or not once did I say, hey, this is too much for me."
I don't know if that's going to go into your topic later. So stop me if it does. But I feel like, do we really need to be asking folks for discount? Now, don't get me wrong. Here's the one thing. So one of the things that your referral, I believe, did right or good on, I think, yeah, when you pay cash, there is a little bit of a, I think you
Yes.
could ask for it. I think it's okay. I believe it's okay when you say, hey, if I pay you cash everything right now, will you knock a couple $100s off or something like that, right? When it's a huge purchase, right?
Right.
Because the
And
fees and
$9,000
credit cards,
is a huge purchase. Yes.
right? And so the fees and credit cards and stuff, and the waiting for the cashing a check, you know what I mean? So cash is king. I think it's
Yes.
okay to say, you mind taking, can I give you $200-300 less
But let me tell
on
you
that?
this. He's already we bypass the company. He's doing this on the side. So he's
Oh, okay,
already
okay.
giving him a lower price.
See, and in that you kind of just say, okay, what I have the same. I have a buddy who's an electrician, and he does work for us randomly around the house, but he does it in the evenings and on the weekends. And when he just says there are times he's like, I don't know, I'll let my wife deal with it, and she'll just be like, hey, it's $100, $120, or whatever it is, and then we're just like, okay, we just go because it is cheaper than getting the electrician out here. It is a friend, the money, so I mean, all those things stack up, and it's like,
Right.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I don't need the friend to give me a discount. Now, if he wants to or whatever, that's him. And I say, but I usually tell him, like, just tell me, and I don't mind, man. Just, if it helps you out, I'm okay
So
with
let me
that.
catch up on these comments. CPJ
Sure.
says, Jamie wants to go to Supermanville and I want to go to Dollywood.
CPJ, I used to not want to, but the more I've gotten older and learned more about, oh my gosh, what's her full name?
Dolly Parton?
Thank you. Sorry. The more I read about her, I'm like, yes, I want to support her. So if you do end
She
up going, let
is
me know.
a sweetheart.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Chorn
Every
said,
time I
it
see
all
her on.
sandy, it all fake. Joanne says, do you know this idiot? I don't know the idiot. The idiot is from San Antonio. He just happens to have a house here that needs repairs. So I've not made the connection at all. Like they dropped a name and I'm like, I know a Jessica, I know a Veronica, but it's not anybody that I've ever discussed business with. And so if it's watered down, and I reached out to like 2 or 3 different people that that might have given his name out, but they're like, "Nah, Sandy, I haven't." So I don't know.
I'm sorry. That
I
is
mean,
just
but
ridiculous. Like,
just know, like, it's like me referring somebody to Joe for pictures.
mhm.
I'm not sending you over there and telling you, "Hey, he's gonna give you a discount, he's gonna hook you up." Joe has a tip line. He's not gonna give you a discount. I'll tell you that
Don't get me started. Don't get me started right now. Wait till later. Okay.
So anyway, that and this is why I hesitate to do referrals. Like, you know, I just can't handle it. I
I
can't do it.
know. I know.
Because I want my friends to have business, but then I don't want also like for my name to be connected with, oh, Sandy said, because
Mhm.
that's how it was implied.
Yep. I don't
So,
know why it can't just be, and I get it. And I get it. Like, I do get it. I do. I do understand wanting to make your dollar stretch as far as it can. I get it. And I respect that, right? I
right,
respect that.
totally.
It's fair.
Which is
But
why I would always refer this guy as opposed to a big company because one, his family could use the money,
right,
and
right.
two, he's going to help you out in the long run.
Yeah, and I
It's
think
a
that there's
win-win.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I so agree with you. Here's the thing too, is like, so I'll prefer a local person over any of the chain stuff if I know the person, especially if I know the person, right? And I want to help their business grow. Um, and I would rather give them the 20 or 30 bucks instead of going to Walmart and pay the 10 or 15 bucks if I can afford it. Now, again,
Right.
there's that fine balance, right? If you can afford it. And honest to gosh, I would rather
Hi,
give that
Anita.
money to, hey, Anita, I would rather give that money to friends and stuff. Like, you remember Miss Kim?
Yeah, Miss Kim's
Okay.
Confections.
Yes.
I always like her stuff on TikTok.
It's amazing. Her stuff is so beautiful.
Mhm.
I had the pleasure. Someone called me one day and was like, "Hey, Hyman, can you get us can you give us a recommendation for someone who does some things because we want to celebrate and support Black History Month?" And I was like, "Oh, Miss Kim's Confections, give her a call. Not just because it's Black History Month. Her stuff is amazing. It's absolutely good." And I did the whole spill. They called her that day, arranged for it. She did the whole get up, and I was like, "I think I know someone who asked for you there and I suggested you." And she goes, "Yes, that was because of your recommendation. I got the thing." And I was like, "Oh no, that was not because of my recommendation. It's because you did it." But
Right.
so my little one's birthday is today, and I went
Yes,
ahead
happy
and called
birthday.
her. Thank you. Yeah. I went ahead and called Miss Kim and was like, "Miss Kim, I want you to set up a little table for my little one for her birthday this weekend. I don't need a big one because she was only inviting like 3 or 4 friends to her little shindig." And so I
Mhm.
was like, "I don't need a lot, just a little bit." And so she's like, "Okay, we'll do half dozens of all these things." I was like, "Perfect." And I didn't want the kids getting sugared up on everything, right? And so
Right,
she's
then
like,
you gotta
"Well."
sit there and watch them and listen to all that sugar talking.
So she told me, she was like, "I'm going to go ahead and just throw in the decorative table, whatever. She's going to make it pretty and stuff like that." And I was like, "You don't have to do that, seriously." And she was like, "No, no, it's okay. We got to get this done because it's the weekend." And I was like, "Fine." So then when it came out for her bill came to me, I thought it was fine. And then I saw the tip line and I almost got triggered, Sandy. But then I was like, wait a minute. This is, first off, it's a local person that I love and I want to support. And she gave me the thing for, and I don't know how much a table was really. So I
Right.
guesstimated what I thought and I filled in the tip line with that extra because I thought, well, at least she
Right.
could pocket
So,
that.
like,
I
in
don't,
her instance, this is her bread and butter.
yes.
She threw in something for free without you asking for it,
Hmm. And I
and
didn't expect
I
it.
f
I
a
didn't
and
expect
I
it.
feel like this is my opinion, that this is really short notice.
Well, I had called her weeks in advance, and she
Oh,
and I
okay.
we definitely
Okay.
connected on it. It's just it was one of those where we weren't getting anywhere, and so one day she was
Gotcha.
just like, "We just need to hammer it," and I was like, "Oh, yes, I'm ready." And she knew when it was coming, and she was all like, "I
So she
know
kinda
it's
had you
coming," and
penciled in.
yeah,
Okay.
there you go,
Gotcha, gotcha.
yes,
Y'all just needed to
yes.
solidify it. Okay, cool. Tell her happy birthday, Jamie.
Oh, I will. Let me tell you also real quick on Miss Kim. So she actually did start a job recently working in the same building as Dr. Pineapples.
Oh,
And
really?
yes, but he was so kicker. This happened just last week. I was taking a nice, comfy, I was wrapped in my blankets and I was taking a nap right after I got off of work. And I was just chilling on the couch, just dreaming my own business. And then my phone rings and I answer and I'm like, hello, hello, yeah. And it was Miss Kim, and she was like, hey, Mr. Pineapples, I found your wife's credit card on the porch steps of our in our building. And I was like,
Oh, wow.
huh? And so I start yelling for Dr. Pineapples, and she comes there, and we're on the video call, and she's like, I found your credit card. And we're like, oh my gosh. So she ended up dropping it at the house later on that night.
Like,
and I was
how
like, thank
cool
you
is
so
it that
much.
she found it?
It was right. It was weird, right?
Yeah. That's so weird.
It is very weird, but it's less weird when you think they both work in the same building. But still, it's not like it was a small building.
But
It's
still, like, you could, like, somebody else could have walked by, but it
yes,
happened to be
because
someone
and there's
that
lots of
knew.
students on campus. You remember, so
Yeah,
they both work
exactly.
on campus, and so yes, lots of students walking around
Super
everywhere.
cool.
It was real funny though. But I thought that was cute. So anyway, Miss Kim's going to be at my daughter's birthday party this weekend to set up a table with some sweets and stuff. I'll get pictures.
Oh, I
I'm
want
sure
you to
she's
take
going to get pictures.
pictures.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I want to see it.
yeah.
Because how old is your daughter turning today?
Oh my gosh, she's a teen now.
So you have 2 teenagers at home.
I do have 2 teenagers.
May the odds be ever in your favor.
Thank you, Sandy. Thank you.
My second triggering thing is we went and had brunch for lunch, breakfast for lunch. And so we're sitting down talking, and the table behind us gets their order. To my surprise, the lady's voice went up a few octaves. She had ordered a BLT.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows the BLT is bacon, lettuce, tomato.
Good combination, guys. Good,
right,
great combination. Best. Yes.
She freaked out on the server and said, I said no tomatoes. Imagine my surprise.
It was Joe.
Yeah, when I turned her, no, I mean, like, so why don't you just order a bacon lettuce?
Yeah.
Why you throw in the tea? Chonda apparently does not like a BLT.
Get out of here, John. It's a great sandwich.
It's probably Chon behind me getting mad because there was tomatoes in there. Anyway, I just thought, really, this is the world. I mean, because seriously, a tomato, you can just pull that bitch right on.
Right?
Like,
yeah, like we're not talking about chopped onions. We're not talking about, shredded
tomato
lettuce.
relish. We're not talking about anything. Literally just open the chingadera, pull the chingadera, and then close the chingadera.
Yep. Shut
and then just shut up and eat it. No reason for your inner Karen
to come out.
And
I don't understand, and I don't know what it is, Sandy. Like, and I've been watching a lot of restaurant bar reality TV shows.
You have
lately,
yes.
Right? Yeah. Okay, we'll get to that later. But I'm like, sometimes people go off on the server, and I'm like, why? Like, it's not like the server made it either. And I get frustration. I get having frustration, and you feel like you need to vent to someone, but that's very different to me than going off on a server. Venting is like, look, it'd be like, Sandy, I know this isn't you. I'm just frustrated that I got the tomato on there and I didn't want it, and I'm not blaming you. It's just a little frustrating. Versus people are like, why? I said no tomato. I said no tomato on here, Sandy. Why did you put tomato on here?
Yeah, that was her. Like, I promise you, like, I'd have been embarrassed if that was somebody at my table that acted like that. Yeah, CPJ, can I get a glass of wine without the grapes? We're on it. We are on it. I can't. I don't know in what world.
I don't either. And
people think they're this
and more so in this day and age. I mean, not really more so. It's always been that way. The service industry has always been bitten by people who want to take their frustrations out on the servers and hostesses and busboys and all these people who are cumulatively taking care of doing something for you. And I get it. Again. I get being upset about something that didn't happen properly. That should not be the magic key that allows you to be a jerk and ruin their lives. Like these jerkies that are like, I'd have tipped you if you whatever the stupid reason was, and it's like, and then you see their tickets on Reddit or whatever, and you're like, you had a $200 tab and you left some weird excuse or pennies and then this dumb reason on there, and it's like, I hope life treats you well. Let me just say, I
I
hope
saw
life
something
treats
says,
you well.
I hope life treats you the way you treat animals and the way you treat your server. I'm about that. I'm about that life right
Okay.
there.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
I
that
feel
just
like,
kind of was in my grinds my gears section. But I have
okay.
a question for you guys. And before you answer it, Jamie, let's let the audience answer first.
Okay.
Do
Sounds good.
you pronounce the L in yolk, like egg yolk?
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay. So just hit me with a yes or no in the comments.
Okay. While you do
And
that, you want me to tell a story to give people time?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
did you have
totally.
another idea?
Well, I was going to ask a second question, but
Yeah,
no,
good.
no,
Yeah,
no,
yeah, yeah,
no,
yeah.
no. Tell a story.
Okay, so while everyone's answering that question, um, I'll tell you a story that was in one of my hot topics for tonight. And hold on real quick. Let me just change this so that um, you
Okay.
pronounce
While you're doing that,
the
Anita
L.
has said no. Anita does not pronounce the L.
There we go.
Chon
There we
does
go.
not
Okay.
pronounce the L. Joanne does not pronounce the L. Okay. We have one more. Maybe we'll get a comment from her.
Okay.
Do you pronounce the L in the yolk? I sort of do use the L, not big time, but yes, a touch. You want me to go first or you go first?
It's your question, so you get to put, you get to direct things.
I
I
pronounce the L in yolk. I've always said yolk. I just now recently learned a friend of mine was making fun of his daughter because
uh-huh.
she pronounced the L. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've pronounced it my whole life. We've pronounced the L.
Uh-huh.
And anyway, so we went on and did some research, but I guess you can and you can't pronounce it, but I think it leans more towards it's not supposed to be pronounced. But
Really?
I've said yolk my whole life.
Same here. To me, it's yolk because yolk is that thing that goes on the oxes when they
That's
plow
exactly the
the
only other
fields.
reason that I know what a yoke is it's something that goes on
Yeah,
animals, on livestock. Yeah.
yeah. And so, yeah, I, here's the thing: is if it doesn't come out and people were to say you're not saying it, I'd be like, well, the intention is to say it, and I feel like the same way I say salmon. I'm like
No.
the yolk is there and the
No.
L is there in the yolk. So
I guess I've never paid attention. Maybe I just don't say it in public. No one's ever said that. Joanne, I thought it was funny too. I mean, but just it's so strange to me.
yeah, yeah. I guess there are a few
CPJ
words like
says
that.
there are some people around here who wash their clothes.
Oh yes, yes,
Yes,
yes.
Eric's grandmas, they wash.
So I feel
Mhm.
like that is a northern thing, though, not a southern thing. I see being up here, I hear more people who say that than I ever heard back home down there.
Really?
Yes. And I'm always like, huh, what did you say?
Right. Come again.
Yeah. The first times hearing it was odd, right? Because I don't think I like I said, it was significantly more than I'd ever heard back home. And so it
Mhm.
was just always like, and then I have family that says it, and I used to like Dr. Pineapples was like, "You need to check yourself because you're coming across a little." And I'm like, "Am I really?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm not trying to. I just have never heard it that way, and it's just so interesting." I was like,
Yeah, a
"It just
wash rag.
yeah, yes." Like I won't say who, but someone said she'll say, "Yeah, I'm gonna go wash the dishes," and I'm like, "Okay, it's
Good on you, mate.
yeah." That's freaking
So interesting, yeah.
yeah,
Okay,
totally, totally.
do you wanna do your story?
Sure, I got a few here. So let me tell
Okay,
you about
cool.
this is just a story, guys. I just wanted to share. I've got two. Okay, so one is I'll tell you about the turkey vultures incident. Okay, and I tried to call Sandy and she didn't want to pick up the phone. Or no, you did pick
When?
up the phone this weekend.
This
So
weekend?
yes, here we go. I'll tell you. So my daughter and I were in the car and we're driving. Right, so it's a one-way street. there's like 4 lanes. We're in the middle, and the other car that comes, or no, we're in the outside lane, and this other car's next to us. And man, there was these giant birds in the sky, and I was like, this is how I looked. Okay, so in the car, and I'm like this. I'm like, we're at the stoplight, and I'm like, man, I was like, look at that, baby girl. I was like, I think those are turkey vultures because they're enormous in the sky. And she's like, turkey vultures. So she kind of leans over me, and I'm like, yeah, look. And she's like, those are big. And I don't even notice it, but the guy next to me, at some point, he had rolled his window down, but I had rolled my window down so I could show my daughter so she could see clearer. So we're both just kind of, right? And this guy had rolled his window down, and he kind of was looking at us, and it was just like, what? And we're just like, I'm sorry, what? And he goes, what? And it was like, oh, sorry, we're looking at the turkey vultures. And then he kind of just looks, and he's like, and he rolls the window up. But at that instant, my daughter and I just started cracking up laughing. It was so funny. Thinking about it now, it's not as funny, but when it happened, she and I could not stop laughing about it because we were like,
so this guy thought you guys were trying to communicate with him.
He thought I was trying to make eye contact with him, and when I was pointing, I guess he was thinking I was saying, roll it down or something because I rolled mine down. And looking back, and I'm like, yeah, I can see all the markers that would make it for what he was thinking it was, but that's not at all what it was. And I was all like, oh my god.
Okay, so what was it in the sky?
We weren't 100% sure, but so our town has a habit of seeing turkey vultures in place. And if you've never seen a turkey vulture, they are
so it's real.
Yeah. These are real.
You were just making that up.
No. These are scary looking giant condor birds.
Like a buzzard? Like you would say a buzzard?
I would say it's bigger.
Because do vultures exist in North America? I know we have buzzards.
Vultures exist in North America.
Okay.
But these things are... And I thought, like you, Sandy, the first time I heard about it, I was like, what? And I remember when I saw it and people were telling me, oh, yeah, all the turkey vultures are on the ledge of the big insurance company in town. And I was like, huh? And I remember just whatever, because I was like, they're trying to get me. And then I'd heard it enough times. And then finally I was like, I'd go over and walk over there. And good God, these things are like something from freaking hell that are just... the craziest looking birds. They look like turkeys. They have that little gobble gobble thing right there. Uh-huh. But they are enormous, and their wingspan is frightening. It is just like, you're like, okay. And there's like a few of them just all perched right there, and you're like, holy crap. And you've seen these things too, because they'll just land in the middle of a freaking street. They don't give a dang about the cars going. They own the road. And these things are like...
And then it's like, you think you're going to hit them, and they take off like...
They're... Not ours.
Yeah, okay.
And ours, they just look at you and like, try it, see what happens. You're like,
walk around and find out. So Trump would like to say she fly high in Lubbock, Jamie. Joanne says people pronounce words differently. A friend of mine who passed recently, God rest her soul, would say air for hour. And I'm like, what about the air? Huh, that's interesting. Air for hour.
That ain't air fault.
Like that's air fault.
Huh. I wonder where that came from too now.
I know, that's interesting.
I'm gonna have to look at the different dialects and see how people pronounce.
Jamie, can you imagine shooting up at the local business place? Just a hunter vultures.
Just take it out and be like, I got them. They won't be bothering us anymore.
So I watched a TikTok where this girl had moved into this house, and she all of a sudden started seeing like these vultures like just sit out around her house and just like look in.
Oh my
God.
God.
She was like, does it mean something?
Yeah, it means they're following the death that's going to that's going to fall on you here soon. They're like, we're getting in line. We're waiting for the buffet to open. That's what they're saying. They're like, I'm first in line, fool.
Yeah. Oh, she was from Virginia. Okay, so people like Kentucky, Virginia, that area, they have a different accent.
Yeah.
We had a Kentucky, we were in Charleston, and we had a horse-drawn carriage tour, and the lady was from Kentucky. And it took everything that I had to be able to focus and understand what she was telling me. I was concentrating hard on that tour.
Girl, so we have a lot of folks in town around here where English is their second language. I am like hardcore when they talk. I am like, get everything else out of my earshots, and I'm like, say it again.
I know.
And I am like looking at their lips if there's a camera. I'm doing everything humanly manageable to make sure I can understand them 100% without
Because you don't
asking
want
them
to be
to
like,
repeat.
huh? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
And because
focused.
they're not the only one in the calls. There's multiple people with English as a second language, and I'm just sitting there like this. And my dumb self, I'm listening, and I'm all like, I swear you said that in Spanish, but I know my brain is just wanting you to say it in Spanish. And so I know that's not at all what you said. You know what I mean? That's what my brain's doing, is thinking through that. Because Dr. Pineapple, she's always like, will you stop pronouncing everything in Spanish? And I'm like, but look at it. That's what it says. Don Chile. And she's like, it's
Jamie,
not Chile.
I had a moment several years ago, and we still laugh about it to this day. XM came out with their brochure.
Okay.
XM or
radio,
Sirius XM, whatever. And so they had all their stations. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they have Regional Mexican. Eric's like, what? I'm like, they have Regional Mexican. He was like, let me see that. He was like, that says regional Mexican. I'm like, I don't know why I read that in Spanish. I read it twice in Spanish. Anyway, so I know exactly whenever your brain just makes you see stuff.
It does. And it's always in Spanish. Dr. Pineapple is always like, not everything is in Spanish. And I'm like, are you sure? Because
it sure does look like
it. Says
it says Regional Mexican. So now we see it and we say Regional, even though we know it's regional. And I'm sure people are just like, what? I'm like, it's an Abby thing.
Yeah.
So CPJ says, I love learning what different people say. For example, rather than I'm getting out of the car here, someone say, I'm getting off here. Okay. So this goes back to Spanish translation. Like, if you stop your bus, like if you stop the bus or whatever transportation, you say baja aquí. So like getting off here.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if you heard like a Mexican person say it that's used to saying it in Spanish, then maybe that's why. I don't know.
I don't know either. Because I'm not around enough Spanish speaking people up here. But I still hear that, and I still see it, and I still think it's Sandy. So I don't know if that's. And I have battled with bouts of depression up here because I'm not around people like me, right? And so, oh man, some years it gets really, really tough because I'm just like, I just feel so alone.
Hang out at La Bamba.
So I do.
Not enough.
I mean, it's okay. It's just,
what about the cookie place? Isn't she Latina?
Oh, she is nice. So she posted up a job recently, and I was like, maybe I should go work over there. It's pennies, right? But I'm like, maybe she'll just let me work on Saturday mornings and make some cookies and decorate, and I could just hang out with them. And
we habla español together and ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
And ja.
So anyhow, I am
we'll too, Mr. THC. BBJ says, girl, did I tell you about reading the words on the walls and on the border in Spanish? I was so proud of myself I could read it. Fine Mexican food. I said, Finet Mexican.
It's fragile. It's fragile.
Oh my gosh. It happens. It happens to the best of us. Really, it does.
I'm telling you, it's every time. Dr. Pineapple is always on me about it. And she just is like, stop. Not everything is in Spanish.
Not everything.
Well, I'm like, unless you can prove it otherwise, I'm pronouncing it that way. Okay. So anyhow.
Okay.
Let me tell you
my
the story.
Next question, because this was also on one of the posts.
Okay.
A lady was kind of upset because she'd been told no kids at the wedding, and she doesn't have a babysitter. So she didn't know if she was going to participate because she felt personally victimized by being told no kids.
By being called out, right?
Well, it wasn't specific to her. There's other people that have kids.
Sure.
But the wedding specifically said no kids.
And I respect that. I respect that. I'm okay with that. If you don't want my ankle biters there, that's okay with me.
Anita said y'all are both silly. I read that in Spanish.
What does C?
Right. What does C mean? So growing up Mexican, if there's a quinceañera, if there's a baile, if there's just just because kids are going to be there and kids are going to be running around. It's a given.
Yes.
It's a given. I also think it is the most recent wedding that we went to. I was looking at all those kids and I'm like, get them out. The photographer, the videographer, they're trying to get around these kids. It was the Mexican wedding, and these kids are running wild, playing cars, making airplanes, throwing balls. I mean, it's a freaking circus.
It's a circus.
So I respect if you don't want to have kids at your wedding.
Yes, I do too.
I respect it totally. I think you can find a babysitter. Quit trying to be acting all like, oh, I just can't find a baby. Whatever.
Or don't go.
Don't go.
Don't go. If you're not part of the wedding crew, don't go.
I mean, simple as that. I mean, if you want to be all, oh, I can't go out. I'm sure you can go out for other things, but all of a sudden you can't find a babysitter to this wedding because you felt hurt by it. And I guarantee you, it's your kids that are running around acting crazy.
Probably is. It probably is.
That's why
I went to go to the movies this weekend for the first time in a very long time. And we went to go watch Ant-Man, right? So it's a big deal, big movie, right?
Right.
And during the movie trailers were there. And then all of a sudden you hear noise. And me and one of my buddies, we look at each other, we're like, really? And you're like,
I done pay $14.75 for this ticket.
It's 8:30 or 8:30 at night, 9 o'clock at night. We're gonna be here till midnight. And you brought the baby? And they're not quiet by any stretch of the means. And I can tell again, I respect it. I understand that I do not expect kids to be quiet because kids are gonna be.
You should have gone to an early show. That baby needs to be in
bed.
Why are you
bringing them here? I don't get it. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't get it. That baby was crying multiple times. It was just
Sean said, just call Joe. I'm not sure why.
Call Joe. Just call Joe.
CPJ says, I had a no kids wedding. And like I said, I respect that. Like,
call Joe for the camera, the pictures at the wedding.
Oh, Joe would never do a wedding.
Yeah, I think he knows.
Yeah, no. Speaking, going back to that invitation, those people offered an off-site daycare.
What? For those that couldn't. That was nice.
It was hella nice, right?
That was kind. Heck yeah.
I thought so. But anyway, I think she was just bitching a bitch, honestly.
Maybe so.
Rather than adding no kids allowed, I spent more money on invitation that was literally a spiral notebook. I'll have to show you. Anyway, I presented the menu, the band's name, all the things to make it very clear that this was not a happy hour event. I also addressed the invitations properly. Mr. and Mrs. Eric Abby, not Abby family. It worked. Good.
I see what you mean. I
want to see that.
That makes sense. If you get it to look formal enough, it delivers the message for you. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're going to a black tie event. But these people
that want to bring their kids, no. You know they're going to do like, oh my, I didn't have a kid. What would you have done, CPJ, if these people didn't listen?
Oh, that's a good point. I want to know that too. CPJ, what do any of you do? What do you do? How do you address that? Because I've seen Reddit posts like this also, right? I've seen people who've posted up things like this. I saw someone who was like, I'm going to wear this dress that either matched the bride's dress or better. And her brother who the woman's dating was like, don't wear that, and don't wear it or I'm not bringing you to the wedding. And then he's driving and he could see that she had put on a dress, but underneath the dress was the other dress. She totally planned. He was all like, as soon as I saw that, I stopped the car, told her to get out, and she could walk her way either to the house or the wedding. But if she walked herself to the wedding, he was going to make sure she didn't attend it. And he left.
What was it? What kind of dress was it?
I don't even remember.
But she was trying to upstage the bride?
Yes. and
What is
had known
up
this
with
was a thing.
people?
This was a long drawn out thing with him and his girlfriend and the soon to be bride. She just thought it should be okay. And this isn't an isolated story. I've seen stories like this
I was gonna
repeatedly
say,
where
you hear it
brides,
from mother-in-laws wearing
yes,
white.
yes,
That I don't understand. That is, like, sick. Like, you wanna
that's
be in a white
weird.
dress next to your son? Fucking weird, okay? I'm just gonna tell you that right now.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Like, had and that all these ladies are like, "Oh, well, he was a mama's boy." B, but you chose to marry him. Those were red flags to begin with, okay?
Right,
Like,
right,
that
right.
didn't just happen overnight. He didn't
No.
just become a mama's boy. And then all of a sudden, like, the one that I just saw made like, this week, she had put a clown over the mom's face, but she's wearing a bridal gown. The mom is, and then she ended up divorcing the guy, but I'm like, "Girl,
Mhm.
you shoulda done better. You
You
knew that
should
was
have known
coming."
better. You should have known.
Joanne says, "Some people are dense and don't get it, and some people don't wanna get it, Joanne."
Yeah. Both of y'all, both comments. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And the ones who don't get it afterwards, it's because when you've revealed to them and they still choose stupidity or whatever you want to call that, it's like, man, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've read enough wedding stories to know that there are some stories out there that makes me feel super grateful for the one that I had.
Yeah,
Even
I
though,
agree.
never mind, I won't say it.
CPJ says, "I literally would have not have done a thing. If 95% can follow the wishes, we are okay. But I did that so people could have a very nice out with a seated dinner and live band. They got it." Yeah, I mean, the thing is like you spend so much money on this, and maybe you didn't. You just made it beautiful and it was elegant, whatever. But this
Sure.
is your day. It's not about these selfish people that want to wear what they want to wear. That want. I don't
Yeah.
get that. Honestly, I don't.
And
Yes,
I'm with you too.
beach of people,
I
Mr.
don't
Ass and Ms. Ass.
I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. Like
Yeah,
you know for you, so why not for others?
yeah.
Right?
Okay, are you ready for your second story? Because I've got a ton of stuff on my
I'm
list.
fine with it. But yes, I want to tell some of my stories. So get this,
Okay.
guys. All right. So I put one of my hot topics list tonight was don't get caught with your pants down, right? So
Yes, I remember that left me
yeah.
like,
Yeah. So hold on. Let me go make sure the door's closed. Oh, wait, let me turn off the camera real quick.
oh, because you got caught with your pants down.
Because that's what I thought I did when I did it this week in a meeting or this weekend when I was hosting. I'm doing this program on cybersecurity. So very, you know, a little up there, I'll say, just a little up there. I thought I hit the stop camera button in the Zoom, got my happy butt up, went to the door to get dinner from my kids who was bringing it to me, and came to sit it back down. I sit here, I put my earplugs back in, just like what I'm here now. And I'm looking and I look at the thing and I see everything. I see the cameras there. When I go to turn the camera back on, I realize it never turned off. And I'm like this. And then I say, so just like we were talking about in requirement 12, we need to make sure that we document everything in the organization and that it's written off by everyone. And I can see everyone's just like, and
Oh my
everyone's
god.
snickering. And I'm like, and
They saw you.
that's
Are
everyone
you
saw.
boxers or briefs?
I am boxer briefs, and so I just
Or they clean at least?
yeah.
Did they have holes in them?
No holes. They were clean. There were no holes.
Thank God.
It was more like just inappropriate, right? Like I'd feel comfortable around family and close friends, but not everyone. You know what I'm
Please
saying?
don't feel
So
comfortable ever
it
around
was
me.
like, not in my professional setting with people who I'm in a program for cybersecurity in. Not
Right.
that close.
Run, Sandy. Look out for the cam. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I thought
My
that was
kid
going in a different direction.
no, my kid said, Dad, you better not show up in a compilation video here in this next week, okay? I would be so embarrassed if you do. I'm like, you? What about me? So anyway, just make sure. I don't know how many of you are in that type of world, but I am day and night. So I've been so paranoid
You've been in
on
underwear mode or what
everything.
type of mode?
Do what?
What type of mode?
In where you're doing video calls frequently.
Okay.
So if you're doing, tele whatever, work wise. So I say that, for work, I'm in tons of Zoom meetings. And then during the night, I'm in cybersecurity classes and things. And it'd be one thing if I was just in the class,
Rated X.
but I'm leading the class. I'm helping instruct the class. And yeah.
And here you are putting on a show for folks.
I didn't even get paid for it.
God. Do you say the L in folks?
Folks. Folk.
Because I just said it, but you don't say folks.
Not folks. I say folks. Folks.
Huh, interesting. Look, Anita said, Jamie, stand up.
I have my shorts on now, guys. So I'm okay. I wear my shorts now because I am. You can't see anyway, but I'm wearing my shorts now, and because I also attend meetings on my phone, I am like triple checking. Did I hit stop cam? Did I hit mic mute? And I am just like, okay.
Keep your pants on, dude. Sound advice from Joanne.
It is sound advice. It's sound advice. You know what I mean? When you're at work, when you work from home and when you can just roll out of bed and then just get on the computer and start working, you're like, okay, that's all what I'm gonna do.
Right.
But
so 2020 was remote home life.
Yeah. But and that's life in general for IT folks.
Mm-hmm.
We do a lot of remote stuff. So we've been doing it for a lot of years. But this was late at night. And, it was
late at night when all the girls are sleeping. I stay up and think of you.
So this was a 8 p.m. nighttime thing. So I had already taken my nap and everything. I heard that.
Yeah, it's Eric. Okay, so my next thing.
Go for it.
It's 2023. Can we stop?
Can we stop?
Can we stop pushing fake, touched up pictures so that you can sell your MLM products? So let me get on my soapbox. I had a skin condition called, I'm going to mess it up, keratosis pilaris. So basically translated chicken skin. Okay. So you have like bumpy skin.
Oh, I've heard of that. Uh-huh.
Okay. So I lived with that for all of my life.
Mm-hmm.
I tried guarantee every product on the market.
Okay.
None of it worked. They were all little temporary fixes that would make your skin soft, never actually got rid of the bumps. What got rid of the bumps was going gluten-free.
Gluten.
And so that was part of the reaction that I would have with the gluten, is that I would have these bumps. Crazy. And so they're tiny little bumps. Some of them they're like pus filled. They're not painful. They look painful, but they're not. They're like red. You have like reddish skin and white. So anyway, which brings me to my MLM topic. Anytime that I see in these mom groups, I have KP, you see these MLM people come in and say, this polishing bar has absolutely helped my client. It is. And then I get so pissed. So then I feel like I have to go on there and say, listen, it's a diet thing. No polishing bar, no soap, nothing is going to get rid of that. And then they show this photo of somebody that had it.
Before and after. Your before and after.
Before and after. It's never in the same room. It's never in the same light. It's never the same distance. So then my second, quit pushing your MLM product. I have naturally curly hair.
Mm-hmm.
It's always doing what it wants.
It's always magnificent.
Thank you. And I go to a curly hair specialist.
Yep.
And so this lady prior to me meeting my curly hair specialist, right when I wanted to go back to getting my hair curly, um, said, "Hey, I'm selling this mask for hair." So I was intrigued, and she
Naturally,
showed
makes
me this
sense.
miraculous looking photo.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that shit dried my hair out. I mean, it was not good for my hair. I even specifically asked her, "Is this curly girl approved?"
Mm-hmm.
Because
Mm-hmm.
there's a thing called curly girl method. She said, "Yes, it is." So I believed her. Turns out it was not curly girl approved. They
Yeah.
don't have their ingredients on the label, so I couldn't see what was in it.
Ooh, red flag.
Red flag.
Yeah.
So anyway,
But it does so much. You're enticed by it because of the lifestyle that you have with curly hair, like the upkeep. The
mhm,
I know more about curly hair than I ever thought I would. Sandy, I have been around. I feel like I can teach classes, legit classes on curly hair. I've been
yeah.
around biracial children who I'm looking at their hair and I'm just like, oh my God.
Do both of your girls have the same style of hair, or is
No,
it
one
different?
has 4C and the other one is like 2 or 3B, I think is
And
what it
only
is.
curly girl people know exactly what that number is. It means like, is it coily or it,
Is it really, really curls? Or is it a little curl?
is it
Is
a
it wavy
wave?
curl?
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Only
so,
curly people know
yes,
that.
yes. And that's what when I see these little girls, I'm like, and I have to call my wife because I'm like, babe, I see a baby that needs help and I want to go over there. She's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And I'm like, I can't. Why am I doing this? Bye. And then I go over there. I'm like, hi. So I know. I'm
So
like,
I noticed your baby has
I,
hair.
I've noticed you don't take care of your baby's hair. I was thinking I can help you with that.
Right, God
And so,
love.
and so the few people that have actually taken it up, they come back later and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you for saying something." I'm like, "No, thank you for listening because that child did not need to go through
Because
another
you could have
16
totally
years."
ignored.
Yes, and I feel so bad for that child because I know what they're doing. They're washing her hair every day, every night, and then they're just putting conditioner in it. It's like, oh my God, please stop. But she doesn't
Because
deserve
you
that.
have
She
to
deserves
use like
beautiful
a
hair.
specific oil for
Yeah,
for
yeah, right.
scalp, right?
And not all scalps are the same, and
And
not
not
all
all
hair is the
scalps are
same.
created
Some people
equal.
need more oil, less water. Like my kids are opposite. One of my kids needs more oil and less water. The other one needs more water and less oil. And if you don't get if you don't get a professional like what Sandy has, if you don't get someone who's professionally understands curly hair, you're going to get some person who's
You're
trying
gonna
to
have a
think,
lifetime of bad haircuts, bad color
oh,
that ruins your curls. So
oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Yeah, my
yeah,
babies.
no,
Anyway, yeah,
people don't do it.
don't.
CPJ, okay, so you need to go to Nichelle. Both of y'all need to go to Nichelle. She will train you. Remind me to give you her info.
Mm.
And because she is great. And she's actually opening up to where she's getting more clients because she was like closed. But yes, y'all need to go see her because she's
Yes.
a talker. She will educate you. She knows what cuts to do. I mean, she's amazing. You want more volume, less volume?
Yes. And she'll give you the and there is product it is not like regular straight or wavy hair people hair. It is legit. There's things out there that you got to get that is work. And
And then
once you
you're
find it, you're like, oh my God, how did I not do this? Like you're like, I have been brushing this baby's hair out. Oh my God. And then you're like, but it's so easy now. And then she grows up and learns how to take care of her own hair. Like my kids, my oldest one,
the thing is
she's got her
you'll
whole regimen.
appreciate your hair more. I
Huh?
didn't appreciate my hair because of the way my mom would just like with the pinches
Oh.
de you'll just brush the shit out
Oh.
of it, and then I'd get hit upside the head. So I'm not tender-headed in the least bit. Not tender-headed at all. Like, she'll pull me and she's like, "Sorry," and I'm like, "That's fine." She'll
Yeah.
hit me upside the head with, like, the blow dryer because it's a huge ass diffuser that she has to use for
Uh-huh.
my hair. Anyway,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes, just go to a professional. Learn about your
I hear
hair,
you,
and
girl.
she'll appreciate it.
And I always took the
And quit pushing
stance of
MLM shit.
yeah. I always took the stance of wanting to know how to do the girl's hair because of my defense was if dear God I didn't want anything bad to happen to Dr. Pineapples, right? But if she did, I wanted to make sure that my girls did not look like a dang fool being raised by their daddy and sending them out looking crazy headed. You know what I mean? So
Oh,
I
that's
studied,
sweet.
I researched, and when they were babies, it was painful. Like I would be there for 2 hours, little babies sitting in front, and me doing their hair, and their hair was like this long. You know, and if you've seen my kids, their hair is
They
like
have long hair.
long. But Eva, my oldest, that girl, she's religious about how she takes care of her hair. And so now what used to take me, so even then when it was that long, it would take me hours. But then I got to like when they were around when they were around 3 or 4, like I could sit down in 15 minutes. I could do like 3 feet of hair like that, and ponytails and braids. I was like, come here, give me the bottle, give me the moisturizer. Boom, 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 boom. We're done.
Oh, I love
Time
it.
done. I used to mess around with fathers. I used to go to them like, bro. I used to like, come here, bro. You're killing me. You're giving fathers a bad name, man. Do your daughter's hair right. Do her hair right. Jeez.
I
And
saw a
they're like,
video of a dad who does his little I think she's biracial and she does her hair. I mean, just does the cutest little ponytails. And I want to say that mom's not in the picture. I can't remember because it was a TikTok, but that's awesome to
yeah.
take
There
initiative.
are dads out there that do greater jobs than I have, and there are dads out there that just do a job, which I appreciate. But the fathers I get, and I always get judgmental, I guess. I get emotional when I hear and see fathers who don't do their curly or even just any of their daughter's hair. I'm like, what's wrong with you? Like in my mind, I'm looking, I'm like, be a man and do her hair. Why would you not do her hair? God. Anyway, I'm sorry. New thing that you just learned tonight that I get on about, right? So tipping and gender reveals. Now you can add dads that don't do their daughter's hairs.
Well, I'm gonna add in one more for you that's gonna piss you off. Okay.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Sandy knows what ticks me off, guys. And so she's always looking out for these stories. And then I'm like,
it's 2023. Can we stop recording ourselves at the gym and then accuse people of being creepers? So this has been ongoing. Okay. There's these beautiful women working out.
Okay.
These men are walking around, and so they go up to him and quit staring at me. Or then they go and post the video and say, look at this guy. He's such a creeper. He was staring at me the entire time.
Okay.
Today's story. Let me tell you about today's story.
Tell me about it. Tell us about it, Sandy.
There's a gentleman working out. Okay. And he tells you, I'm a blind man.
I know who you're talking about.
The man is literally blind.
Not just a little blind.
No, full on blind, 100% blind. And he works out. And because, I mean, his eyes are open. Right. But he can't see anything because that's what blind means. He even wears the stinking shirts
that say it. He has the blind card. Literally, there is a blind association card that he gives to people.
So he's there working out. The girl comes, he hears footsteps. And he hears that they're coming towards him. And a girl gets in his face and says, I did not come to the gym to have you stare at me. And he's like, what? Because he doesn't realize that it's like, that she's right there. He does, but he just doesn't get it. Like, it's like, he's shocked, basically. And she says, I did not come to the gym to be stared at. And he's like, ma'am, I'm blind. And she says, I don't care. I don't want you staring at me. So anyway,
she walks off. It doesn't end there.
It doesn't end there. She walks off and goes and gets management. Management comes over to him and says, hey, you're not supposed to be staring. And he pulls out his card. He pulls out his I'm legally blind card. And the guy says, well, it doesn't matter.
You can't be staring
at people. So he leaves. Let me tell you this.
Grind my gears.
This is a lawsuit for discrimination based on the ADA Act.
Complete discrimination.
And I hope that gym gets shut down. And I hope that bench
gets taken. Gets taken to court. Gets taken to court. Yes. That's what I mean.
Because what a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, Get off your high horse that you think you're on. Yo, ugly heifer.
I
The
love
only
watching that
reason
dude's
you go
videos.
to the gym is to get attention. I'm gonna tell you that right. I said it. There, I said it. That's the only reason she's going to the damn gym. Go to a women's only gym. Guess what? I stare at you in women and in men. I can't. Oh, it pisses me off.
I know. The guy, I saw that video on YouTube, and I saw it 100 times. And I every time I see it, I'm just always like, what is going on, people? Like, come on.
Like, how dare
Come
you
on.
just say, "Oh, I don't care if you are blind. Quit staring at me." In
Like, I don't
what
even know how
world?
to say, I don't even know. Like the gym, and then for the gym to add on, like, okay, let's just say devil's advocate for a second. She sees that, she's going through it, she doesn't believe him. Okay, maybe there's some uh an element of understanding. She can't believe him because she's just pulling out a line. But then to go to the manager, and as long as this guy, like if you have a gym membership with there, I feel like management, it's kind of like in the restaurant, you kind of know who your regulars are, right? So
Yeah,
it's
because
like
a
you
gym
think,
person is a regular. A gym person is a regular.
yes.
Unless this is January and there's all the New Year's resolutions, people.
And at some point, the guy, like, he can't walk in there 100%
Surely he has his
unassisted, right?
walking
Because he
stick, right?
can't see the other people coming after him, and they don't know that he's blind. So you think that there's something that he uses to help him out. And so, as the owner, not her, but as the owner or the person who's managing or whatever, you think they'd know. Yeah, ma'am, he is blind. And anyway,
Anyway,
good. Yeah,
I was beyond
you were
pissed.
beyond livid, huh?
Because all I had was going to tell you was just, stop recording yourself. And then I saw this and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
made it
that guy's
even
got an interesting
worse.
life. Actually, he loves surfing, so he goes surfing often, and he works from home. He's a voice actor and does like voice uh, um, commercials, voiceover for like commercials and stuff like that.
Mm.
So yeah, I've seen his setup, and he's very talented, and his voice is really he's
Let
got a
me
good
know
voice.
if you guys want. I'll send y'all that the TikTok or whatever it was that I
Yeah,
saw
you
because
should post it.
well, I have to post it. I have to send it individually. But anyway, so that
Yeah.
grinded my gears.
Oh yeah.
Do you have another story? Because I've just got one more.
Let me see.
And Chon's comment to that is she a ass. I
Okay, let me tell you real quick.
agree.
I've been watching these shows. I was telling y'all how I've been watching these restaurant and bar shows lately, right?
Right.
So, been watching Bar Rescue for a long time. And every time I watch the show, I'm not overly sensitive or whatever to these people. If anything, it makes me see the amount of Americans that are just should not be running any type of
So give
business.
us the premise. The
I'll give you
premise
this
of
one
Bar
for
Rescue.
example. There's this one okay, so in Bar Rescue, John Taffer is the host. He's a successful businessman who's opened his own bars successfully. He's like the Gordon Ramsay of bars. Okay.
Okay.
So very successful. He's helped hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands actually at this point. He's helped thousands of bars run successfully. His claim is to bar science. I don't know if that's a legit thing, but the more you see him do it, you realize, okay, every time he goes to a bar, he doesn't do a bar based on what he thinks. He goes in and he checks out the demographics of the area. He figures out medium household incomes. He figures out just everything about the community, and he figures out how to build the bar based on that in relation to what's competition around also,
So
and
what makes a bar successful? So he gets all the
yes.
ingredients,
He
not just
yes. Yeah, so he has people who come in to train in the kitchen if they have a kitchen and at the bar, and he gets people who are world renowned for their bar. Like they have people who have won awards, or they in Las Vegas they do that bartenders they have a bartenders contest
Mhm.
of thing, but it's a big deal. I'm making it seem like it's small, right? But it's a really popular thing. So he gets these people to come in as his trainers, I guess you can kind of say, right? And then can you hear me?
Yeah, did something go off? You
Yeah, on
just
my
kind of
side,
went
there was
dim.
something that kind of went off. It was just weird. But anyway, so he gets those people to come in and they do their training and they create cocktails for the bar that are specific to them. He does the same thing for the kitchen. He gets real renowned chefs to come in and redo stuff and build menus not just based on the bar, but based on the community, right? So like if they're on the if they're on a coastal city, for example, we need to get the fresh stuff in. He goes in, he's like, man, you're wasting money by getting all this pre-done crap, and he says, yes. He goes, look at this. You buy a can of green beans, for example, that costs you $5 for that because there's added cost in that. He goes, if you were to just make green beans fresh, it would cost you $2 and take you less time to prepare. And
but
they
he's also
use the
like,
microwave. And he's like,
also,
I can cook. Oh, say that again. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just saying, like, he's also like caught where employees are like over serving and basically spending money, wasting money with their drinks.
Yeah. So he does this thing in every episode where he's like, I went in and we weighed all your drinks and then weighed them again at the end of the weekend. And he says, you gave out, and there's been some that have been astronomical. One restaurant had given out like $12,000 worth of alcohol in 3 days. 12,000.
God, how do you not plug that leak?
Oh, because it's the owners doing it. So it's the owners who are like, you see it time and again in these shows. The owners are like ridiculous, Sandy and everyone. They're ridiculous. They're like, here, I'll buy you a bottle. And bottles in bars that sell bottle service, they're like $300 a bottle. Okay, you're not just buying the bottle. You're buying the bottle. You're buying the glasses. You get a specific server to help you out. It's very luxurious and all this stuff, right? And so, this one guy, he gave out like 3 or 4 bottles that night. That was like $1,200, and for not even one night. It was like
he gave them away.
Yeah, he was just giving them away.
Was he drinking on the job?
He was drinking with them.
Okay,
he was drinking with them.
I can see that you were drunk and just having a great time.
Mm-hmm. So, and because they had beautiful girls, but it had been one of the host of the show, John. He sends them in there to see if they'll do and meet the thing. And anyway, so yeah. So
bet if they'd have been a bunch of ugly girls, they wouldn't have got shit for free.
And that's what that's what the staff says about some of these people too. So anyway, he goes in there, he'll send his little spies in to recon the place and see what happens, and then he'll come in and he'll just wreck shop. Sandy, he wrecks them. He'll be like, he'll see people who are treating people wrong. I mean, okay, last week I told Sandy and Joe, this week, right? It was this week. I
can't
bawling
remember.
My eyes out.
I think it was last week.
I was like, I could not stop crying for 45 minutes straight. I was just crying. The father employed his 2 sons in the kitchen. At one point, the older brother irritates the younger brother enough where you can tell the younger brother's about to crack. Like, he doesn't look good. Like, you can just tell they needed to stop. And he ends up going off, puts his fist through a paper towel dispenser and hurts his hand. And the whole time he is just looking down, and that's how you know, right? You're my empathetic vibes are going off. I'm like, this kid's gonna go get
He's about to blow.
Happen. Yeah, and so he ends up yelling at his older brother. His dad comes in and says, "Leave him alone," basically. And then out of nowhere, his dad comes out and just slaps the older brother. It triggered me. I was triggered, Sandy. I was like, and I just kind of was like, what did I just see? Why did they show that? And then they do the break, but I'm not watching the commercials, and they come back and they showed it again. And that just,
how old is the dad to be slapping his kid?
The dad is like 50 years old, I think. 50 years old, probably.
So, but the kid wasn't disrespecting. I'm trying to see like all angles.
Okay, so the older brother was just being a jerk, and he was being an uber jerk. Okay?
So he deserved the slap.
There's a sense that says yes. Here's the thing: it's not so clear cut, because you realize that the kids want to do good in the kitchen, but you also see that dad is just getting drunk at the bar, and he's driving this thing into the ground, and it's ruining the family. And so the dad's just not doing anything. So while you can say the kid might have deserved it, ultimately everything relied on the father. He just was not taking care of the business. He was not treating his kids properly. He wasn't taking, it's just all bad. It's just all bad. So the kids are only products of their environment.
Yeah.
And it falls mostly on the young. Anyhow. So he hits his oldest son. His oldest son is probably 22 at the most. At the most. And John saw that and he got out. He went in there and he ripped him. And he ripped him in front of the whole bar. He disrespected him. He was like, I'm going to make you feel small. You ask me, you say, please come back tomorrow to save your bar. And the guy was like, I'm not going to. He goes, you say it right now. And he just wouldn't let him go. And he goes, you say it or I'm walking out and you're going to fail on your own. And
what happened? Tell me.
He told him, he said, I need your help. I want you to come back. And he goes, now tell these boys you're sorry and don't you dare talk to them for the rest of the night. If I find out you did one thing to them, we're done. And so it felt good. It felt good because those boys, it's no excuse
were really
for the older brother. Well, and they were doing as much as they could, but you can see that's how a lot of these stories are. They're doing what they can, but at some point everyone stops caring because the person who holds the ability to make changes happen ultimately puts the cap on them. So then, they're always hitting a wall that they can never get past. So at some point they're tired of hitting that wall. And then they're like, fine, I don't clean anymore. I don't cook sanitary anymore. I don't anything. And it's like, just no standards, but that's because the person on top stopped having standards.
Yeah.
And so it's a ridiculous story. And so I find when I watch this bar rescue, I am just thinking people in this country have been given some golden opportunities that they shouldn't have. Now,
and they shit him away.
And they do, Sandy. They just, I saw this one kid who got his bar as a gift, as a graduation gift from his dad. And it was an expensive bar.
I got towels.
In fact, I think that was the bar that had spent the $12,000, given away the $12,000 on liquor in that weekend. I think that was the one where the father had gifted it to the son.
Wow.
So anyway, they're all aboard, and they're all across the board. I always find this at the end, it's kind of this happy story or whatever, they, their success or whatever else, and you're kind of like, I still feel like these are jerks. Some of them, not all of them. Some of them are great. Some of them take the advice, they follow it. They're like, this isn't the kind of bar I wanted, but it does fit the area. And then they come back months later to do a recap on the show or whatever, and they're like, man, we have done $800,000 in the last 6 months. We weren't projecting that for a while. And they're like, we've paid off this debt, and now we're going to open a second location and we help others out try to do better. And we go to other bars. And then there's been somewhere like it's so crazy to see when you see seasons of shows in a long stretch of time, you see the progression of technology and then the world events that happen. And it's, some of these are sad. Some of these are terrible. Some of these, like during Hurricane Sandy and Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, okay. I'm like, she did some damage.
Hurricane Katrina and Sandy.
Up north and then
down south. Yes. So you see some of the bars that were involved in that, and it's heartbreaking. And you think, man, I remember when that happened, and you remember what I saw on the news and stuff. But in some of these episodes, you see how they impacted real people and the community, and it's brutal sometimes.
Yeah.
And you also see the progression of when not technology was a big thing, right? But then all of a sudden you're like, oh, now you see everyone saying, well, let's Google that real quick. And it's like, oh, 2012, 2013 seems to be the year when we started officially using our phones more. And when we started saying, let's Google that. And
really?
The internet was, that's what I found, because there's other shows that I watched 2012, 2011, 2013. In that time frame, that's when we started becoming super reliant on technology. And you know that because that's when I started seeing people carrying their phones now and saying stuff like, or searching phones, not the flip phones anymore. People who are actually using search on their phones and starts picking up Googling that. And so it's like, wow. And I've seen it on plenty of shows. Anyway, I always feel like people are just crazy on that bar rescue. So I started watching Restaurant Impossible. And I cry usually on every episode of that one because it's such a sad story. And I feel like, oh, they're really nice, or not nicer, but they really care more about the people and they tell you their stories more. And it's pretty connecting, right? But then I go and I started looking up the what happened to the restaurants after the show. And I'm like, it looks like the track record for Restaurant Impossible is 80%.
They didn't make it?
Yeah, 80% end up closing their doors like within the year after the episode aired. And I'm like, it's starting to make me look at the shows that I'm watching on that one a little bit different, because I'm like, they touch my heart, but at the same time, everyone I've seen, there's probably been one or two that didn't, but 80% of them seem to have closed down, which is interesting to note, because on Bar Rescue, the track record on there, I'm in the 5th season, and they're still airing Bar Rescue to this day, and Restaurant Impossible. They both air to this day.
Huh. Where do you find them? For those that are curious about rescuing bars.
I don't remember. I think it's whatever Spike eventually turned into. I'll look for it and post up later. But the track record for Bar Rescue is 80% wins. 80% of the businesses that he goes in to save,
interesting,
they are still open. 80% of them are still open. Versus, and I'm only on season 4 of Restaurant Impossible, but so far I'm at the beginning of season 4. The track record looks like 80% of the restaurants closed down. So I don't know why that's the case, but at least that's the observation I'm looking at. That's what it seems like.
John anyway, said Sandy needs a nap. So I've suffered from insomnia, and so I haven't slept well in the last 2 nights. So I apologize for yawning, because I feel like I'm actually getting sleepy now. So I'm hoping to have a full night's rest tonight.
Well, I've been talking for a while, so
no, you're good. No, you're good. It's just that insomnia, it's kicked my butt.
Interesting. My picture disappeared. Well, we can finish off, or whatever.
Let me just do my last story, and then because I have it just right here.
Yep.
So my last story is something that kind of hit close to home. It was a Reddit post where a recently engaged couple was invited to their in-laws for Christmas. They're recently engaged. This will be their first in-law get together. Okay. And so as soon as the soon-to-be daughter-in-law gets the invitation, she sends off an email. And in this email, she lets the soon-to-be mother-in-law know that she has very specific dietary needs, sends over recipes, and requests that they make things that are specific to her. So the mother-in-law fires back an email and says, "We will not be accommodating your dietary needs." And so she's not very happy. She still goes and thinks, well, maybe they've made something for me. When she gets there, she sees that there is nothing that she can eat, and she gets so upset that she ends up leaving the party, and basically acts like a petulant child and leaves. So the fiance is left there, and so he just doesn't know what to do. And so he's mad at her, and she thinks that she's justified. So, no, you're good. You're good. So what do you guys think? Jamie, recap. Couple gets invited to the in-laws. She fires off an email and says, "I have specific dietary needs. Here's a few recipes that you can make for me." Mother-in-law says, "Not gonna happen." She shows up thinking it's gonna happen. There's nothing that she can eat there, according to her, and she leaves, making a scene.
See, can I respond, or?
Yep, you totally can.
Okay. All right. I've seen things like this. Here's my challenge with these things is I find myself being more on the fence of everyone sucks than siding with one side or the other. Because for me, I think it's a good thing. Like, okay, as a host, if I'm going to feed you on any level, I would like to know your dietary restrictions, because if I can meet them, I'd like to meet them as best as I can. If I can. Now, if you're telling me I can only eat like your style, I would have to ask you for some suggestions, because I'm like, I don't think I can process that to do something for you. But if you tell me, I think I can do that. I can follow instructions more than I can create the recipe. Make sense?
Makes sense.
So there's that side. The other side of me, I'm like, well, the gall to be so demanding to someone else, it's weird, right? It's weird. It doesn't feel good to be like, hey,
especially this is going to be your first impression for people.
Yeah.
So you're
See, but then I have to ask,
automatically
like, how does
putting
it
me
feel?
out.
Right, right.
As
And so,
someone that has special dietary needs, and if I go to somebody's house, I do not impose my dietary needs on them. It is my job to feed myself. If my kid is going to a birthday party and we know that he can't have any of that cake, I will
you'll bring something specific
I
so
will
that they
supply
can,
something specific for him, and
and
I've done
that's
it
mad
before.
respect. But and see, this is where I go, because it also reveals more to me. Like, again, if I and I do this regularly for me, Sandy. Like, I do ask people who come to my home or who I'm going to feed, I do ask if there are dietary restrictions. I do that for the children that come into my house, just
I've
to be
hosted
safe.
a ton of things in my life, and I've never asked anybody about their dietary needs. I've had Christmas parties, I've had New Year's parties, I've had birthday parties.
Now, I'm not knocking you for
No,
not doing
no,
it.
and
You know
no,
what I mean?
I'm just telling you that
I'm
I've
not.
never asked, and no
And
one's ever emailed me and said, "Hey, can you do this, this, and this?"
right. And so that's the part I think I have a challenge here with, is like, for you to share that in such a way, like and then to expect it. So to me also, so okay, on the parent side, I guess that's who it was, right? On the parent side, I would
Mhm.
want to make sure I have stuff that my guest or my future daughter-in-law or whatever is wants to eat. Now, I also say that because I can say I'm spoiled by my mother-in-law, who always makes sure and asks, "Do I need to get anything for y'all when you come down for Thanksgiving? Please just send me a list and I'll get it." And she gets it every time. For the last 15 years, the woman has gotten it, right?
I
Uh,
feel like in this situation, had you come to her differently and said, "Listen, I've got some dietary needs. Can I bring this dish? Are you okay with if I bring this dish? I don't want you
yes.
to understand. Like, I don't want you to think that I'm don't want to eat your food, but this is my condition that I have." I
And that's
think
why I
if you'd
say
approached
everyone
it
sucks here, is
differently.
because for the in my mind, for just in my mind, for the family to not see if there was any dietary restrictions, I feel is a little lackadaisical on their part. I also feel more so for her, if she had dietary restrictions, to expect someone to conform to that. It's simple to say, "Hey, I can't eat corn tortillas. I can only get flour. Do you mind if I bring my own flour tortillas?
Exactly.
I don't want to make people feel weird. I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable, but I know that, so you know what I mean? That scenario, that makes sense. So, like, kind of what you were
And
saying a second ago, that makes sense. It's
but in this,
polite. It's
you have to also look at it. She's cooking for a family of 20.
right.
For her to have to make one small dish for one person, that's also an inconvenience, and you're imposing on somebody.
But see, I have
That's
no
how I would
problem with
feel.
saying, and I think that's valid, but I would have no problem saying, "Hey, I don't know if I can make a dietary restriction for you, but I'd like to know what that is. Just, if I can't do it today, then for future reference."
Yeah.
And
I
so,
don't know.
but I hear what you're saying. I'm not
It's just
saying
I
you're
just feel like it's a
wrong.
huge sense of entitlement on her behalf.
I agree. But this is also why, what I'm saying, from my point, is when I say everyone sucks, is because it didn't just stop there, though, Sandy. Here's the thing with the story that you mentioned. It didn't just stop there. It escalated into this dramatic showdown that it was like, can we
I
not
mean,
just
to
be
me,
adults and just be like, I'm gonna just go down to Walmart and grab me, I don't know, Sandy. You know what I'm saying? Let me just go take care of me respectfully,
because
real quick.
this has happened to me. I'll tell you right now.
Okay.
We got invited over to dinner
Mm-hmm.
reluctantly by said person. They
Okay.
knew they knew what our dietary restrictions were.
Threw them all right out the window, kind
They
of thing.
didn't make anything
Didn't
for us.
okay. But you
So
brought your
we
own, though.
stopped and got our own because we knew she wasn't going to make anything for us.
Right, right.
She hadn't told us. We just knew. That makes
And I
sense.
think I think that's a good practice. When you have a dietary or lifestyle chat difference than what you think most people are, or especially if you know their lifestyle, then you just ensure that things are going to be okay. And that's where I think the girl, the daughter, future daughter, I don't, I
Future
think that
daughter-in-law.
I think the future daughter-in-law failed epically right there, was not ensuring that she was going to be taken care of. And I agree with you with the entitlement part. Not and that to me that
And then
further
the
comes
walking
in when you're like,
out.
yes, and that's what I keep saying too. Is like there's just that next level. It's not like it just ended at there, and it's not like there was a conversation that anyone could have had, right? Like heaven forbid you be an adult or mature anything, and you just go and be like, yeah, you just voice your whatever. Like even if the entitled little girl felt like the way she did, not going to the mother and having a conversation with her to at least just talk it out. But do you rather just storm off in a little huffy puff?
You'd rather storm off. That's the first impression people have of you.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you this. I ain't gonna like you. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna speak very highly of you.
right. And yeah, but there, and I still think there's a lot of weirdness here too. Like how come how come the son didn't communicate any of this to mom also, or say something to mom?
There might have been something in there. I just took the blurb of it. I just took the gist of the.
I disagree with you. I don't think, because I think sometimes those Reddit posts, that's the challenge with them. They're very one-sided because it's only the person who's been hurt or
Yeah,
did the hurting usually post that. And so
because she
and
did. I
I'm
mean,
not blaming you.
She
I'm
did post on there that he wasn't speaking to her. Like he was
And
that
so
mad at her.
you know what I mean? That's got to be something. I think that accounts for something. Like maybe you were in the wrong. Maybe
Yeah.
I don't know, but I think that was a good. I think that was a good. Not good. I think that was a revealing opportunity to help people make decisions for their futures.
Yeah, I think that spoke volumes of her character,
Yes,
and he's gonna dodge a bullet if he does end up
if
leaving,
he
which I
does
hope he
want to
does.
dodge it, right? Because she might actually be the greatest thing since sliced bread for him,
But
just
then you
not
act
in
like
his
that.
family. Yeah, I know. That's some crazy.
Like, yeah, I'd have been disappointed, totally. But I also would have prepared better. When you have this lifestyle change,
You know. And for
quit
her, and
expecting people to
especially
bend over
if she
backwards.
sent the email and then went without verifying it, it's just like it's hard not to
I
see
mean,
the
she told her
entitlement.
she couldn't do it. She told her she couldn't do it.
Yeah, but she said she didn't. I thought you said she didn't check her email or
No, no,
didn't.
no. The mother-in-law checked it. She fired
No.
back and
The
told her she
daughter
wasn't
or the not the daughter, the future,
the
whatever, the
future. Yeah,
girl.
no, she knew. She went there. She showed up still thinking that it was going to happen.
That's what I'm saying. So she didn't read mom's email back or take it as seriousness.
She didn't
So
take it seriously, I guess.
okay, see, then it's like then you failed yourself on that part.
Yeah,
Then
that's what I'm saying. She failed. So Joanne says, "Right, Sandy, don't come across as an ass and expect to be catered to. Do your part. Offer to take something." That's all she knew what she needed to take, and she didn't take it, and then she threw a fit about it.
yep.
But anyway, we are way past our time.
Sandy had a lot of good stories tonight,
I know.
or
I'm always
talking
full of.
points.
So while Jamie pulls up our thing, I think I'm gonna do a show tomorrow. And I will just when I do my promo, you guys of course hit the remind button so y'all can come on. But the title of my show is Talk Reddit to Me. And these are gonna be relationship things that have been in Reddit.
Ooh, I love this stuff.
My guest host is gonna be my assistant.
Oh, nice.
I
Are y'all
love
both going to be
piggyback.
triggered at the same time, though, or can one of
You have to watch and see. We never know.
Okay, sounds great. Oh, I can't wait to watch this. I love hearing these kinds of stories.
Are you going to be on, or are you just going to watch?
I am going to see what. Oh, so I didn't tell y'all about my daughter's birthday. Let me just tell you real quick. She ended up getting a horse.
You did tell us. You told us last week.
Oh, okay. Well, then anyway, so she got that. So now she has to attend the ranch 3 times a week, and she's actually going for a big wig guy who's coming to do private lessons.
Nice.
And so I went ahead and signed her up for one because it is her birthday party, but we got to go there at 8:00 in the morning. But she has to go. She's got to wash her horse, clean the stall, and get her tack up and ready to go, so that Saturday morning when she gets there, she can just get on the horse and do the lesson that he's there to teach.
Cool. And also tune in tomorrow because I've got to tell y'all a journey that I'm on that Jamie, I don't even think I've told you yet.
What?
This is a recent discovery. So anyway,
Okay.
Joanne says, sleepy Sandy, sleep well. Thank you so much, Joanne. CPJ says, I love it when you guys are on together.
I do too. I like when they're on.
It's Mr. THC and Miss THC. If I don't sleep tonight, because last night I had to take a gummy, tonight we're gonna have to, I don't know. Because as soon as I get to bed, I'm like, all my music comes on, I just can't sleep. But anyway, I'm gonna talk to y'all about my journey that I'm on. Remind me.
Hopefully I can join though. That's what I want to say is I want to join because I love hearing these stories. But I think it's probably going to be one of those where it's like it's better if it's just you two and I can be in the comments. So
all right.
But if you tell me too many good stories,
because I want to watch it.
Oh, okay. But if it's too good, if it's too juicy, Sandy, I might just have to hop on and be like, I couldn't stay away, Sandy.
Okay. I'm telling you, everything that I have so far is very, very triggering. So
okay.
9 to 10 tomorrow.
9 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Yes.
She'll get a promo created tonight or tomorrow morning.
No, tomorrow. I'm like right now I'm feeling sleepy, so I'm just gonna go jump into bed and see if I pass out. Okay. But anyway.
All right, everyone. We love y'all. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow night and next week. Okay.
Peace out. Y'all be good.